This is the podcast where you come alive to your own exclusive magic and find strategies to work that magic in the real world in a way that feels authentic and exciting and inspired and lucrative and fun. I'm your coach, Bethany Shipley, and this is the Bethany Shipley Show.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. It's kind of funny when you think about it. It's me. I'm in my little office with a microphone. I don't do a video portion of the podcast, and I'm just talking to you. My imagination has taken over what I think you're doing. I'm imagining you are doing some sort of maintenance task like folding laundry or doing dishes. And I just love this. I don't know what it is, but I'm very clear that this is a route that I want to continue in 2025. And it's funny because I've been thinking a lot about how I could up-level the podcast. I've attended trainings and I've really been investing some time in learning more about how to do it better, how to be more clear, how to receive more engagement. And let me tell you, the last episode I did, I got such the feedback that I got in my inbox was so, it wasn't just motivating, because motivating would seem one-sided. It was so connecting. I felt just this certainty about our little way that we have here. So I really appreciate those of you who took the time to email me and send me your thoughts. It was really, really special to me. And for today's episode, I want to talk about redefining what authentic means. I think we live in a day and age where the word authentic is used a lot, and oftentimes in conjunction with the word vulnerable. And it's almost like a buzzword for some of us, like, oh yeah, authentic, vulnerable. And of course, Brené Brown's work around vulnerability is such an inspiring topic for me. But authentic was something that I really had to wrestle with. Like, what does authentic mean to me? Does authentic mean that whatever I'm feeling in the moment is what I'm expressing? And that's really what I thought authentic meant for a long time. Whatever I'm feeling, I want to be expressing. This whole thing really got me because when I went through my season of dark night of the soul, if you will, I remember feeling like I know that what I'm feeling is not who I am, because I know I am loved. I know I am a grounded person, and I know that my mind is playing tricks on me. I know that I don't actually want to leave this place, but my feelings are telling me otherwise. So I had this disconnect between feelings and so like authentic. If I was defining authentic by expressing my feelings, I didn't feel like it was actually an accurate representation of who I was, because I knew my feelings weren't worth trusting like that, if that makes sense. And so I had to kind of transition from how I woke up, like sharing how I woke up today being authentic, to who I was born to be is authentic. Now, this is where we start getting into the slippery slope of it's a quote on a TJ Maxx notebook. Who were you born to be? Be who you are. And I think a lot of us, at the risk of being self-absorbed, kind of shy away from that kind of lingo or that kind of work, because we're like, we know true satisfaction comes in life from not being about self, from being about contribution. We know that. And so we're like, God, I don't want to spend too much time here looking at who I am to be, because it just feels kind of self-absorbed, or I don't have a framework for that. I don't know what it looks like to explore who I was meant to be. I have never, to this day, other than personality tests like Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Human Design, those kinds of things, I've never actually seen a framework that made sense on helping one discover who they are. It's borderline commercial how much I talk about it, but like the honest to God truth is I got feedback yesterday, a few days ago. Was it yesterday? Gosh, from someone who's in my course right now. And she was giving me her module 1 homework and pages upon pages of the most insightful, like I can't even tell you this without crying. And it's kind of funny to think about. I'm sitting here by myself with a mic and I'm about to cry telling you this. The level of insightful that she was able to articulate about her own magic because of the questions in this course. And it was just the clarity that she's able to have after module 1 about who she is and how she came here to be. So anyway, all that to say, I created that framework. And if you need that, you know where to go. You know where I am. But I had to redefine authentic from how I woke up today, how I'm feeling today, to who I was born to be. And really to know who you were born to be, I'd love to take you through the course, but the 3 main elements of really understanding your personal brand, your magic, is you need to know your values, which is, they're different than valuables, by the way. You need to know your values. You need to know your most preferred state of being, like how you prefer to feel most of the time. And you need to know your personal style of expression. And these 3 areas that make up a large portion of the magic Venn diagram, which is inside the course. When you have these 3 areas, you know your values, your preferred state, your most preferred state of being, and your personal style of expression. What's so amazing about this, in my opinion, is when you know these things, you get clear about them, all you have to do then is work on living that. A lot easier said than done. I know for me, my highest value is abundance, and my most preferred state of being is inspired. That's how I want to feel most of the time. And my personal style of expression is vibrant. So everything that I do when I am living in that personal brand, when I'm living in my magic, gets to express exactly who I was born to be. And my hope would be that if you went to my Instagram or you went to my Facebook or you came over to my house, you were sitting here in this office with me, that you would feel the emotion of those specific feelings in abundance, inspired, and vibrant just by being in my presence. Now, if I woke up this morning, hypothetically speaking, I woke up this morning and I had a headache and I was dragging and I wasn't feeling good and I wasn't living in those words. I wasn't actually being who I came here to be. Then my job would be then to, in order to be authentic, my job would be to get back to that. And the closer I am to that, the closer I am to being authentic. That's how I define authentic. So if I show up in the world and I am, let's say, the opposite of abundance, which let's say for me, I would say honestly the opposite of abundance, for the sake of this example, we'll use the word greed. If I show up in the world greedy and the opposite of inspired is uninspired, and I show up uninspired and the opposite of vibrant is dull, and I show up dull. If I show up in those ways, greedy, uninspired, and dull, that would be me not being authentic according to my new definition. Not how I woke up, because sometimes I do wake up greedy and I do wake up uninspired and I do wake up dull. That's just the reality, because I'm a human being and I fluctuate as human beings do. What I love about this redefinition of authentic is that then, let's say we do wake up that way. I do wake up and I'm uninspired and I'm greedy and I'm dull. Let's say I wake up that way. The work to then be authentic becomes, how do I get back to my magic? How do I get back to my personal brand? And I have some practical ways to get back to that for you today that I want to share with you, because I believe when you have a strategy in place to get back, I think there's multiple things at hand here. Number one is when you have an awareness of I'm not being authentic, and you also have a strategy or a roadmap to get back to your magic, the world benefits so greatly. I heard from a friend who is going through my course right now, Market Your Personal Brand. And we're in module 2. And she said, hey, module 1 homework, there's this question. It's kind of stumping me. And the question is, how does the world around me benefit when I am living in my magic? And she's like, I'm really struggling with this question. And so I gave her some feedback, and I'll read it to you. I sent her a voice message, which I'm not going to play, but I also said, would you do this? Would you reach out to this person and this person, 2 people I know in her life that love her and trust her and believe in her and see her and benefit from her, and ask them what it's like to live with you or be around you or be in relationship with you? What is it like for them when you are living in your magic? And of course, this magic word I use a lot, and I understand it's kind of like unicorns and butterflies in a sense, but she said, oh, I'm going to do that and I'm going to reach out. And here's why. I think we so often underestimate the impact that we make on the world around us when we're just living our best life. And I don't mean outer circumstances like we're going to the beach or we're making a lot of money. I'm talking about when there's this deep sense of purpose and fulfillment. Those around us benefit. And I know it's a silly example, but my brother-in-law came over a few weeks ago just to get some tools out of the basement. And I didn't even talk to him. I waved at him from the window and he was smiling so big, like he was just having a great time. And it made me so happy. I'm like, he's doing good and I love him. I think he's my family and I love him. I'm so happy he's doing well. It's like when we are living in this fulfillment and purpose, we benefit the world around us in ways we can't even comprehend. Think of it from the other perspective. Think of it when you're married to someone who's living in purpose and they're fulfilled, how wonderful it is for you. Or when your kids are living in fulfillment and purpose and how wonderful that is for you. Now, this topic is not to be confused with that we should have our experience in order for other people to feel a certain way. I believe that your experience of your own life is worthy in itself of effort and focus. I believe you living in purpose and fulfillment is worthy in itself. But also it gives such a gift to other people when we do that as well. So ways to get back. When we recognize the discrepancy between the way we woke up and who we are born to be. And I say the way we woke up, it doesn't have to be in the morning, but you know what I mean. Like the way you just happen to be feeling in this day or this season versus who you were born to be. And here are some ways to get back. The first section for me, the way that I think about this is routines and rituals. Oftentimes when I am not in my magic, I'm not living abundance, I'm not living inspired, I'm not living vibrant, it is because I'm either in a surplus or I'm in a deficit. When I'm in a surplus, it's typically a surplus of overconsumption, a surplus of toxicity, like literally like food. Like thinking of last night when I was not in my magic, I had heartburn because I ate French fries from Wendy's, which was like not ideal. I was in a surplus of food. I never have had heartburn before, you guys. This was so annoying, other than when I was pregnant. I'm like, what the heck? Oh, come on. Okay, so I'm either in a surplus or I'm in a deficit. A surplus of overcommitments. My schedule is in a surplus. Like or maybe you could see it as a deficit. Like I don't have enough time for resourcing myself. A deficit would look more for me usually like a deficit of sleep or a deficit of nutrition, a deficit of mindfulness. And for me, the difference, routines and rituals, there's a difference for me. Routines are like things I do to maintain a flow in my life. So I think of routines like laundry or dishes or eating. Those are routines. But I think when there's a spiritual element that's incorporated into a routine, it can be upgraded for a ritual. For example, to be honest with you, when I'm folding laundry and I'm listening to a podcast, it kind of becomes a ritual because it's like a spiritual experience. It's like, and I'm getting insight from other people and stimulating my brain. And so routines and rituals are kind of the first thing that I look at. Hey, am I in a surplus or in a deficit? And if so, what is it? Do I need to get a good night's sleep in order to return to my magic? Do I need to get a good night's sleep in order to return to my personal brand? Do I need to get a good meal in that has like enough of every, macronutrient? Do I need more fat in my life, to be honest with you? The diet that I'm on, which is like, I'm not going to go into it. Although, yeah, I'm not going to go into it. Decided. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, but I don't eat a lot of fat, except for last night when I went and got fries. And I really need healthy fat in order for my hormones and my brain to work really well. And so that would be an example. Like, do I need a good meal? Do I need some quiet time? Do I need movement? Do I need to go walk for like 5 miles and just listen to the birds and just have a wonderful walk? Do I need connection with other people? Do I need some order in my life? Do I need to release anything? Sleep, food, mindfulness, mind emptiness, movement, connection, order. These are all routines that to me can become rituals when I add in an element of spirituality. And I think there's so many ways to define spirituality, but I think for me, when I am paying close attention and assuming that everything is a sign from the divine, that is when I feel most connected. That is when I feel most spiritual. And so that is, for me, how I could upgrade a routine to a ritual. And I know I mentioned connection inside of routines and rituals, but I think another way to get back is connection with people who are that safe place for you, are that one, like welcoming, wonderful. There's so many people in my life, and I don't even know if she listens to this podcast, but my sister-in-law, Kaylee, is one of those people for me that like, there's so no sense of judgment. There's so no sense of hurriedness. There's no sense of like annoyance or judgment from her when I'm around her, that she creates this safe container for me to just exist. And she doesn't even probably recognize. I mean, of course I've told her a million times, and I have more than just Kaylee. But I mean, I have to tell you about her because she's just so great. It's like this friendship that just allows a really authentic connection. Like if she were to say, hey, how are you doing? And I really wasn't doing okay, I would be able to just share with her. And that's a way to get back to, I have so many friends like this. There's no way I can encompass all of them in, it's like when you start naming people, you're inevitably going to leave people out. But my friend Sarah is also this way. Sarah Roberts, she's just so, what's the word? Like grounded. She's so grounding. My husband's this way. Eli is this way. There's just this natural big deep breath that I get to experience when I'm around people like this. And so connection is also a way to get back. Another way to get back is introspection, where you opt into something that is going to enlighten you to information that you didn't have or don't currently have. I think of the times where I've invested in a course or coaching or just gotten help being able to see what I might not be able to see. I remember I was at an event in, I think it was Phoenix one time, and I had attended this special session that, it's like you opt in to go to this chat with someone who knows what they're doing, this really amazing coach who I had followed for years. And he gave the opportunity for someone to grab the mic and ask a question in front of the room. And I said, hey, I'm at this place in business. I feel like I'm doing all sorts of things. I'm doing my very best and it's just not moving the needle and I don't know what else to do. And he said, are you familiar with the concept that you don't know what you don't know? And I as silly as it sounds to tell you this right now, I really hadn't considered that there were things that I didn't know. I'm like, oh my God, I have areas that I don't understand. I can't see. And that's why I think coaching exists. And I think that's why therapy exists. I think that's why Courses exist. It's like the fundamental of, oh yeah, I don't know what I don't know. If I knew what I didn't know, I would be able to find the answer, because information is abundant and it's all out there, especially in the day and age we live in. But there are realities that we don't know what we don't know. And I think sometimes, at least I do, kind of over trust myself in that area to be like, oh yeah, I'm fully aware of everything that may be holding me back, when that's actually not true. And so this question that he asked me of, do you know what you don't know? Or are you familiar with the concept that you don't know what you don't know? Really made me go, yes, you're right. And I got some professional coaching after that point. Someone actually came up to me after that event and said, hey, you need to work with my coach. And I was like, eye roll. Sorry, didn't want to be sold to. I was kind of like, if she's listening to this, Amy, she could feel my reservation. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to work with your coach. I don't know who you are. Well, she kept on keeping on about it. And I ended up working with this coach for 5 years. And still to this day, he's one of the top 5 influential people in my life. And his name's Brandon Barber. I actually interviewed him on this podcast. He has literally helped me get over some of the biggest roadblocks in my entire life. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so getting help, seeking help through resources, whether that's coaching, therapy, courses, I think that's a way that we can get back as well, being exposed to what we don't know and learning and always growing. So I hope that this episode has stimulated your mind to consider redefining authentic to mean being closer to who you were born to be. And the closer you can get to that, and the more you can get close to that, sharing that is what actually is authentic. I so appreciate you listening. The last episode, I shared a few ways that I would love to receive feedback. First of all is a rating. So if you love this podcast, you can give it a 5 stars wherever you're listening to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, whatever, you can leave a rating. The second way is to leave a review, and literally even just a sentence about what you liked is so helpful as far as sharing the podcast. And third way that I would love to hear your feedback is if you screenshot the podcast and then share it on social media and tag me. That would just be awesome. And I will reshare as many of them as I see. With that, my friends, I will leave you to the rest of your laundry or the rest of your dishes or whatever you're doing. And I look forward to seeing your authentic expression as you move closer into who you were born to be. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to The Bethany Shipley Show. I hope you feel more inspired. I hope you feel more excited, more clear on what your magic is, because you are made of magic. And so all you have to do to make the magic happen is put yourself out there. So get on out there and do your best now, you hear?